For more than on what to expect at Apple's event today, I'm joined now by CNET editor Dan Ackerman, who's got a great book about Tetris out. We're going to be discussing that later here on.
Thank you.
So stay with us at CBSN, but phenomenal stuff as they now Google on one of the screens.
That's
watching
right.
at home. But let's get to this event. Rumors swirling about what we're going to see today, and specifically about a new iPhone, if the iPhone 7 is unveiled.
If they even call it the iPhone 7, since it seems like it's going to be so similar to the 6 and the 6S.
All right, well, let's get in right there. What's up?
Now, you know, Apple always plays everything very close to the vest. They're very secretive, but over the last couple of years, we've had really good luck kind of seeing everything leaked ahead of time. So it looks like there's going to be two new phones, the same screen size as the 4.7 and the 5.5 that we have now, with a couple of step-up upgrades, new cameras, new processors. But it seems like the big thing is this move to streamline it and take away that old-school headphone jack, which is something we've been using for, you know, decades.
And so it would seem, as opposed to what once was a show, a demonstration of innovation and of culture as much as anything, now this feels, at least heading into it, not unlike a money grab.
It's what I call the trap of the annual upgrade cycle, and Apple suffers from it, and Samsung, and pretty much every other company with a flagship product. They have this pressure every year to come in and say, here's the new version, even if there's not anything really ready to show you. If they skipped a year, everyone would be tearing their hair out going, I can't believe they don't have a new phone or a new widget. So they're kind of stuck. They've created the schedule, and now they're forced to stick with it.
Is this also just the impact, I mean, at a much more fundamental level, are we now seeing what no Steve Jobs at Apple really means to Apple, which is Tim Cook, Johnny Ive? These are men who've been done wonderful things for the company, but it's starting to seem as though by committee is not working for this company.
It's not exactly the same. There's definitely much more of a committee feel, and people have said for a couple of years now there has not been a breakthrough product in a while, and Apple's a victim of its own past success when everything was new and unprecedented and really consumer focused, and said, I have to have this. It's tough to imagine too many areas they can move into now where they'd be able to have that kind of success.
Feels like not unlike a fast food place saying, look, a new burger, and it's just it's really
this year's iteration, and people who are disappointed by this kind of have their fingers crossed that next year for the 10th anniversary of the iPhone, there's some sort of big surprise, you know, waiting for us.
Yeah, I'm also just not a fan of companies rendering things that I managed to hang on to obsolete, even though, again, nothing is fundamentally changing. Also, very quickly, we also hear about perhaps a new Apple Watch. Did I miss the memo that had the Apple Watch as a hit? I
mean, apparently it's popular with some people. I know a lot of people go running with it, jogging with it. They say it's sold more than all the other smartwatches combined, but it still might not be that many.
Yeah. And today, interestingly, Sony's having an event as well that you'll actually be attending with regard to the PlayStation, new consoles, and this actually feels perhaps innovative.
This is almost more interesting. It's kind of counter-programming. In Times Square today, Sony's having a PlayStation press conference where they're probably going to have two new PlayStation 4 models, a slim version that's a little bit smaller, maybe less expensive, and something that's codenamed the Neo, which is sort of a more powerful version, new graphics, new processor. They both should be able to support PlayStation VR, which is a really interesting virtual reality headset that's going to be a low-cost way for people to try out VR. It's $400, a lot, but a lot less than the big VR headsets like Oculus, and it works with your PlayStation 4.
What does the Oculus, for instance, what is that running right now?
I think it's $799, and the HTC Vive is like $800, and you need like a $2,000 computer to run them. They're very hard to put together. You plug something into your PlayStation, I see that as much more of a consumer play.
All right, and again, we should mention, you mentioned it as well, the 10th anniversary of the iPhone will be next year.
Next year.
Perhaps they will figure out a way to make it look like a pen, or
they'll wrap the screen all the way around. It'll just be a sphere of glass.
Yeah, perhaps. Again, Dan Ackerman. He is the author of the new book, The Tetris Effect. It is, it's great. It's so many reads in one. Dan, best of luck with that.
Thank you so much.
We'll be hearing more about it here on CBSN, and thank you for joining us today.
Thanks a lot.